Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. There's lots lined up for you on this edition, but let's get you started with the provocation that's come to the fore from the Chinese side. This is a provocation they've done time and again. 6 times in 6 years, 4 times is what we're looking at. But this time around, what China has done is they have redrawn the boundaries, claiming territories that are not theirs as their own. This includes territories in India as well, including Aksai Chin and Arunachal, or parts of Taiwan. There are parts of the South China Sea as well that China has claimed is within its boundaries, something that it's not entitled to do. And China is being called out for exactly that. Let's take you across and show you what exactly these provocations are as far as Chinese side is concerned. We will be showing you how over the last 6 years, in the 6 years that we've seen in the years gone by, at least 4 provocations coming to the fore from the Chinese side. Like in April 2017, China has renamed 6 places in Arunachal Pradesh. They did so in an exercise right after the Dalai Lama visited India. What they did was, back then in 2021, they released the standardized names of 15 places. Again, renaming places that are not in their territory. They are not supposed to be doing this because it's not their territory, but they claim this is disputed area and they go ahead and rename these places. But India has been very, very clear that these places are within India's boundaries, within India's sovereign boundaries, and they will remain so. They were marked on the Chinese maps as South Tibet, parts of which were in India. April 2023, just this year, 11 places were renamed by China in Arunachal Pradesh. The list included towns that were very, very close to the capital city as well. This year, now this month, August 23, this is the latest provocation that's come to the fore. They've released the standardized map edition. This is the 2023 edition. It has several places that are included within China's boundaries that aren't China's to claim for. That includes Aksai Chin and parts of Arunachal Pradesh. But India is very clear that our stand is firm. Arunachal Pradesh, Aksai Chin are not disputed territories. They are well within India's territory and China should keep off. So let's take a look at what India's stand has been all through this entire controversy, not just this time around. India has made it very clear and that message has been sounded. Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India. There is no claim that can be staked to it. China is resorting to propaganda just ahead of G20. Remember, India is hosting the G20 summit next weekend. We're just 2 weeks away from that event and China clearly seems to be rattled. This map has been released after the BRICS meeting exposed the doublespeak of the Chinese administration. The expansionism agenda of China once again coming to the fore as they believe in illegally occupying territories. That is exactly what they're trying to do with this new standard map as well. Xi Jinping is facing a backlash over Uyghur Muslims over the Tibet issues at the world level. Domestic as well, there are several issues that seem to be cornering the Xi Jinping administration, which is why we see this kind of provocation, these kind of mind games that come to the fore from the Chinese side. This is the latest that we are gathering for you here on CNN News 18. China's provocation is something that has come to the fore once again. Anand, my colleague, joining us, getting us the latest on this. Now these psyops, these mind games, Anand, that China plays ever so often, once again coming to the fore.
Yes, it is, Poonam. And what happens is that this is something that China has been following the footprints of Mao Zedong since 1949, right at the time when he had outlined and the PLA came to power, the CCP to control a 100-year blueprint. And that's when he had talked about the palm and the 5 fingers. And one of the fingers is Arunachal. So if Tibet is the palm, the rest of it are all sovereign Indian territory. And Arunachal has been a bone of contention for the CCP and the Chinese for a long time. Mind you, even in the past, one of our prime ministers desisted from going to Arunachal, but thereafter defied when India decided to give asylum to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and to champion the cause of the Tibetans. From then on, Arunachal has been a bone of contention. Arunachalis themselves have rejected the Chinese. That's another point of view there, because they don't identify with the Han culture at all. Arunachali are totally Indian and follow the Indian ways just like the rest of the Northeast. But these have been perhaps the machinations of the CCP because their long-term plan of dominance, that they want to go back to the China that was more than about 300 to 400 years ago around the Ming dynasty. At that time, what was the spread? And that's the spread they want to take it back, go back to. So from Mao Zedong to Xi Jinping, even in 2023, this is something which Chinese adventurism continues. So when they put out a map like this, it's not just to try and create a certain amount of psyop or opportunism or to try and provoke India, but it is also outlining and reaffirming what their thought process is. They consider this as their territory. If the intelligence reports are to be believed, if they help the Pakistanis with the war chest and warplanes to try and totally sever off and cut off all of Bengal and the rest of the northeast with the agreement that Bengal becomes part of Pakistan during that time, during the 71 war, and integrated, and the rest of the northeast goes to the Chinese, it's a following, it's a continuum, it's a thought continuum which the CCP has. India time and again has challenged this. This kind of map adventurism is not going to yield them any results, but more importantly, they may have had a dream and they may have a wish list and they may have a certain perception, but that perception need not always be reality. So they will not desist from it. It doesn't matter. For us, we just have to get a grip and move on and somewhere go back to China and say that, listen, we will not call this China. This whole policy of one China does not exist at all. Taiwan is Taiwan, Tibet is Tibet, and what you call Xinjiang or the new territory is actually East Turkestan, and that's what we will continue to call it. So as long as they continue with their map adventurism and they continue with what their perception is, we have to only underline what reality is and what the truth is.
Absolutely, because that expansionist agenda is not going to end and India just has to draw the line far more bolder. But thank you so much for that perspective, Anand. China